Hello everybody, I'm gonna do a stream today. Just gonna start here and go a little bit closer as I just do. La, la, la. Fucker. So, okay. Hello, everybody. If there is anybody in here, come and say hello. If I can actually find the one I need. It seems to be difficult than I actually imagined. I'm still here. Ugh, Jesus Christ. Why should everything be so difficult all the time? No. For heaven's sake. God damn it. There we are. Okay. Hello. Today I am going to do kind of just details around here. Try to kind of get it to become a little bit more textures in it. And if you wanna ask questions, you are more than welcome to do that. Okay, now we're back. Okay. Good evening. If you like, please ask questions. Ask questions if you like. If not, I'm just gonna paint and see what happens. If I have something to say, I'm gonna say it. If not, now if people ask questions, it's way more easy for me to actually interact because I can then okay, there we are. Now I'm just going to start painting. I was actually thinking about just having maybe some Marcus Aurelius philosophy or something in the background. But my other computer making it difficult because it's kind of, there's some problems with the system. So I'm stuck with you, and that's how it is these days. I just want to do a stream because I should finish this, as my girlfriend says. It's already finished, but you know, it's always very difficult to know when to stop, because actually, could I continue forever? Yes, I could. I'm not the kind of guy who is easily pleased. I tend to, maybe I should go a little bit further so to see a little bit of me too. Like this, maybe. So if you want me to go closer, just tell me in the comments. So, yeah. Now, if you like to support my channel, you can go to my PATRON, or you can buy me a coffee, or you can, of course, do a super chat if you like to do that. But that is up to people, what I want to do. I'm just going to start right there. I painted on this. It dries very fast now, actually, because I have kind of gone over it and over it and over it again and again. And what I'm using is this reddish. I've showed me, for the people who doesn't, if anyone want to know what colors I use, ask in comments and I will tell you. Kind of, you can also see the other streams where I actually explain it better. The thing here is it's very difficult to find this. As you can see, there's a different type of yellow in it. And it's quite hard to find the right color, actually. It's not easy, but yes. And also I want to try to get a little bit more of this plaster wall texture into it. This is a commissioned work which I should have been finished with a long time ago, and I'm laying the last touch up today. I think it has become quite well. You know, the painting is, hello darling. Color did you use in dark rose? The dark rose. I used the same as always. I use my French ultramarine and the Alsace and blue black, actually, and yeah. I might go over it a little bit more because I think it kind of lacks a little bit of this texture that a rose like that has some kind of velvet texture in a way. So and of course you have the leaves, which is more greenish and stuff. I might do that later. See if I do it today. Maybe I do it today. So try to get in a little bit more of that texture. But what I'm kind of stuck with now is basically the background here. You can also use other blues, of course, in the dark rose. I couldn't use ivory black in it because that would actually make it more earthy. And the blue black is actually from Winsor Newton. Usually I also use a little bit of Michael Harding. I think also that's also a good color. Yeah. But usually it is old hull. But blue black, I only find it in these are Newton. These are more bluish black. So I just wanted to kind of at least feel like it's kind of even, and then I will just let it dry and I will glaze a little bit. I will of course do some more painting when I'm not streaming for my tutorial, which you will, or full process video. Actually it's not full because I lost the sketching process because of one of my hard disks just went irreversibly gone, so I lost some of my, it's from finished sketch to finished painting, but it's a long video anyway, so for the people who like my longer videos, here it is. Just think I'm gonna post the stream on Facebook. Copy. Put the Facebook one. It's this one. Yes. Facebook. Now. So. Paste. Voila. So now I used to be able to post on all my right. So there's something. I mean, Facebook keeps changing the layouts all the time, and it's so annoying. You just got kind of used to something, and they change it. So just gonna put it on 2 places so that follow the rest. So I'm still here. Yeah, it's a different layout again. So annoying. So, maybe somebody comes through. So, okay. Now maybe your okay, I'm back. Let's and also some other colors. And you can see the clarity in this. It's very hard to get it to kind of disappear in a way because it's so vivid in the colors, but I will do my best. Okay, I just wanted to become a little bit more this plaster thing. And then I use my broken colors, these Naples yellow and Naples gill woodish, as it's called. And I use the blue black and try to get this to kind of get. I would like it to be a little bit warmer. Also, I can use here is the actually that works quite good is the Van Dyke brown, because Van Dyke brown has some kind of a bluish tone to it, and if I put in some of the yellow, it kind of becomes a little bit greenish in a way. So it's also, when I look at it, I go back and forth and I see new colors every time, so it's can be a little bit frustrating. Yeah, Amalie, if you have some more questions, just shoot. So I have something to talk about. Let's do something with this. I have a dream, you know, someday I'm gonna do all the details in the background and everything. But first I will become a stinking rich man, so I can... that is why it would be very nice to become totally economically independent from so you don't have to compromise on how much time you can actually put into one painting, because if I wanted to do it maybe like I really want to do it, is just keep working and working and working and working and working with it until it actually basically reaches a level that I'm probably not even able to do when it comes down to it. Oh, you're saying this again. Oh, you're saying I'm not putting in the work. Yeah, I put in the work. I do. I wrote it wrong. Anyway. Any questions? Remember, thumbs up for the people who's watching. It's very important with a thumbs up. So yeah, I have 7 at this point. 6 thumbs up. Thumbs up. Leave comments. Strange that I have to ask people to do that. The background looks very nice, it does. You think so? It's not the right, yeah, I'm kind of getting there. But it's quite a first, because now I would like to have all these things exactly right. But now I'm going into that realm of Philip Weber artist. And that will take me another year, I guess, or something like that. So maybe I just want them to not be too. The thing with the background now is to have it be there, but not dominate. Because when I look at the photo, I don't really see them that clearly, and it's to get that these things are in the painting, but they are not dominating. So I have to tone them right and get them to kind of lay in the back and not feel like they are coming out and grabbing the attention. So you have to kind of work with that at the same time that you kind of try to get it a little bit right compared to the photo. Not that anyone's going to know when I deliver it. That's the thing, when you deliver a painting, they don't know how it was in the first place. It does look like a real plaster wall. I think you must be blind. Thank you, darling. That's nice of you to calm me down, calm my nerves down. Every single painting becomes this existential crisis piece. And at some point, every single painting, it doesn't matter if it is an apple or a stone or a still life or a big one, every single painting turns into a nightmare. And you just have to kind of accept it. I always thought there would come a point where I would stop that and that I would just kind of, oh, it's okay, okay, it's good enough. But no. Every single painting becomes this total existential crisis. And it's laughable, really. I think it's just ridiculous. So, but that's how it is, to do painting. If you're an honest person, if you're one of these artists who are way too pleased with themselves, you don't have that problem because everything you do is great because I say so. That's basically a religious way of thinking. The proof of God is that I believe in God, therefore it's true. And my impression, many artists suffer from the same thing. They are their own judge. And I think that might be a problem. I think it's called narcissism, but I basically talk a lot about that. So maybe I should make next Sunday. I should make a sit-down stream called Art Narcissism Revisited. That would be a good title. Art and Narcissism, or Art and Narcissism. Art Narcissism Revisited. There's a big difference between being kind of artistically self-absorbed and self-critical to being none of the above. You just believe in your own myth. I'm also gonna start making some videos about other artists, things I like, things I find on there, and things I hate, or maybe like a little bit, but don't like all in all because of different reasons. And I'm gonna start with that cackling girl who creates these kitsch paintings. What's her name again? Amalie, could you find the name of that girl that I really can't stand? Oh shit, let me she's painting horrible, superficial paintings. And she probably have a lot of money because she has a lot of expensive equipment. And she could just really go really deep, like if she had, of course, the introspection to do that, she could go deep as Turner or whatever, but they don't. It's only superficial crap, and people are fooled by it because people don't see. When I was young, I couldn't see either. I couldn't see. I was blind. I didn't understand textures, depth. I didn't understand overpaints. Brushwork was the important thing in painting. There's so many things I didn't understand because you have to understand these things on the emotional level. And before you do that, you actually don't see. Simply don't see. Funny, I've been thinking like this for a long time, and I realized that both Nietzsche and Jung and different famous philosophers were saying the same thing, and it kind of surprises me that I had a friend, an author friend, and we had this discussion about free will. And I had stopped believing in free will because I read the books of Alice Miller called, I think it's called, there's a series of books about childhood, and she's a psychologist, and I read that, and I read some other books, and I suddenly detonated in my head when I realized that I couldn't, that actually the things I believed in and people we believe in is learned, and you can't really escape that. Yeah. Talia Stanton, I have to play that clip, Talia Stanton. She is just horrible, it's horrible. So it's cruel. You see now, just listen to her. It's horrible. There's only music here. That's different. Yeah, wait and see.
I'm on a journey to level up my art style, and this is what I'm learning along the way. Day 2 is all about deconstructing florals to make them look a little bit more abstract, but still keeping the shape and beauty that's in a gorgeous flower. So for this oil painting, I drew a lot of inspiration from my sketchbook, where the shapes became a lot more blocky. And
she is so
honestly,
superficial.
I feel like every single artist has a brush type that they
Typical
because of the symbolism behind
borderline
it.
personalities or narcissistic traits. There's no doubt about it.
They just sing.
Yeah.
I'm on a journey to level up my art style, and this is what I'm learning along the way. Day 2 is all about deconstructing florals to make them look a little bit more abstract, but still keeping the...
Okay, she is just horrible. And I'm gonna post her link in description so people can actually go see it. I know it's harsh and it's maybe arrogant, and if somebody wants to tell me that in comments, please let's have a discussion. But it is sad because it is like that. What is it called again? The artist, landscape painter, which I commented on. What is the landscape painter I commented on? What's his name again? A horrible landscape painter is dead now. He's dead. I made a video on it on Facebook. I'm also gonna make a sit-down video about him, because it's just, I can't even understand how people are tricked by this superficial bullshit. It's like I should just make a sketch and teach myself to do some tricks to make it look. I actually use, sometimes I make very nice sketches. Oh, stop there, you mustn't, and no. If you stop, if you never tear it down and build it back up again, you're never going to reach a point where you actually feel like the painting becomes this existential crisis, because you never, yeah, Bob Ross, yeah, thank you, darling. Bob Ross. So you never actually come to, Bob Ross never come to a point where his landscapes started to tear, to phrase Hellraiser, tear your soul apart. And now we will tear your soul apart. He never come to that point. It's just superficial, just fun. You know, it's so fun being an artist. It's so fun standing here trying to get this to come alive without becoming too dominating. And yeah. So anyway. And then the argument I got from people about Bob Ross was, oh, he's just it's good for people that are kind of simple-minded to learn to paint like this. So it's so condescending also, you know. It's like, oh, people are idiots, so I'm gonna make idiotic paintings and teach people to be bad painters so they can actually have a hobby. It's like saying, I don't believe in you people, so I'm gonna teach you some crap so you can feel better about yourself, instead of telling them the truth that good shit takes time. Good painting, anything good takes time, or anything that at least tries to be good. Saw, a little bit too much chaos over here too. And I have to do something with the lighting, because I can't really see everything, because the lighting is kind of off in my studio. And it's too bright and it's too... Okay, I want to do something here. Just try to build some texture. Oh, you're so full of hate. Well, I hate things that are superficial. I literally hate religion and religious thinking, because it stops people from becoming their full potential. That is why I'm an atheist. That is why I'm an anti-theist. I'm not just an atheist, I'm an anti-theist. I hate religion. It stops the process of going into real deep introspection, because you can't really face reality. If you're gonna believe in, if you're gonna stick and believe in fairy tales as a grown person, you can't really go into the deep. Because when you go into, if you get able to go deeper, well, it actually worked, you know. You will face reality at some point, and you will start doubting. And you know, the biggest threat against religious thinking is doubt. And in the monotheistic religions, which is actually neurotically occupied with everybody else believing it too. Luckily we didn't find that in the, you know, the Vikings didn't care if people believed in Odin or Zeus. It wasn't even important, you know. It's only when these monotheistic religions came in, you have this Einschreitung thing, which have led to all these horrific political religions like Nazism and communism. And it's like they metastasize into politics. And when it comes to Islam, it is basically pure politics and religious belief, at least. Well, if you take the laws of Moses and stuff, you know, it is actually also politics, because if you're a believing Jew and really believing, it is your politics also. And probably also Christianity, but despite Christianity not being zealous about converting people on the edge of the sword. Anyway, okay, that was a digression. But it's the same thing with art. It's kind of, if you are a very neurotic person and you go to an art school, and there's a trend in the art school, and the most unpleasant and narcissistic of the students, like I remember in art school, when I went to art school, if they insist on this, insist on being everybody should be a conceptualist, and they are mocking you for wanting to do some good work. If you're weak and you're not able to stand on your own 2 feet, you will lose. You will stop following the herd, and in the end, there's nothing left. There's nothing left of you. There's no pleasure in what you do. And I've seen so many people who did that. They went into trying to be politically correct in the arts, and maybe they rose in the ranks and got these positions in the art world and stuff, but it looks so miserable because they lost themselves. But most of them, maybe they get into the academy, but most of them lose the capability of doing creative work just because they didn't follow their own hearts, to use a cliche. So if you're an artist, if you're an art student, please follow your own process and learn the skills so you have something to fall back on. If you want to do some other things and you want to do some conceptual art and stuff, please do, but learn the skill and let the other things come as a consequence of having the freedom to evolve as you please, because the art world is brutal. That is why I'm not a part of any arts clubs or anything, because I just can't lie. So they can even hear it. Oh, you're not good enough to say stuff like that. No, probably not. As one of my patrons would say, she meant she wasn't good enough to start a YouTube channel, because I said she should start a YouTube channel, and she wasn't good enough. So I say, well, you're better than most, and it's not. You won't regret it, because you will be able to see in 10 years time or 5 years time or 1 year time. You can actually go back and you can see how you painted and how you evolved it and how the process came about. Also, I said the same thing to Cal. the only Christian artist I know, at least communicate with, or communicated with, more. He is also a very good painter, a landscape painter. I do think his religiosity holds him back a little bit, as I did say, because he is kind of a little bit stuck in a certain way of doing. It's almost like he doesn't dare going the next step, because he could actually become very a Turner type of painter, and he's really good. But it's almost like something is holding him back, and I told him to start a YouTube channel, but he doesn't want to. And he has this really funny southern dialect, which would make him instant success on YouTube. I'm so sure about it. I mean, he's good, you know, he's good. Despite being a Christian. But I think if he became a non-believer and focused on reality, both in texture and in life, I think it would become even better. You can say, all the artists used to be religious. Well, they didn't have back then. You can look at, I have actually diaries of, the scriptures of Leonardo da Vinci. And when he describes nature, he says the way nature created them. And why he says that is probably because he wasn't a believer. And I think you can see that in his art, that he was so curious and so open and so realistic that he managed to make this great art while other people were just tinkering. Yeah. Also told a girl not to be the patron girl, that she should be self-critical but not self-deprecating, and that's a thing. If I was going to wait until I was pleased with my art, I would never do anything. I would never exhibit anything. I would never show anything. I would never, because having the great classics as my objective standard, it's really hard to ever become pleased with one's own work. Like now, I'm standing here battling with things that probably nobody even gonna care about except me, and it's time consuming. So. Yeah, I think I want to start making reaction videos also. It's supposed to be popular on YouTube right now, so yeah. So, I don't know if Amalie is still there, but if you are, what do you think? Do you see any changes now? You see here now, it's starting to become a little bit the same color. The face is a little bit different. But I'm gonna start changing the face now, there is no way. There is no way. Only 7 thumbs up. That is not enough. Give me a thumbs up. If you're new here, thumbs up, thumbs up. Yeah, so what should I do now? Make the whole thing like that? It'll take me 4 weeks or something like that. So it's called tinkering. Just even it out in the right way and it will come better in time. Now to make this a little bit more interesting, maybe I should do something on the rows also. Just a little bit. So here it is. Am I getting bald? I have a lot of curls actually. I didn't have that much curls before. And I think that is, I used to have it when I was young. And I went to prison and suddenly my hair was all curly when I came out of it. It was probably because I was sleeping well, eating very little sugar, and then I kind of lost some of it again because I started to screw up my diet again, and now I just need to go all the way back to that prison rule system where I focus more on this now. Not eating sugar. Actually, I threw into the trash today. I had some sausages and stuff, and I just threw it because it's too much sugar. When it's sugar in something, some food, and you have like 12% protein per 100 grams, and you have 17% fat, and there's like 4 grams of sugar or something like that, it's just, you're gonna gain weight like crazy because the sugar stops your fat burn. And yeah, so I just needed to decide to clean up. I've done it before, but just need to throw it away. So my last meal tonight will be a pork chop and greens instead of sausages and greens. I mean, in a pork chop there's a lot of protein. Amalie, how much protein is it in a pork chop per 100 grams? You're probably going to sleep, you know, because she has a different, that's a problem. When you're in a relationship, you should actually try to, and I'm trying to get your schedule to now correspond, but it's hard. You know, I have severe ADHD, and I have always troubles focusing. And, you know, there's something on there. I think it's, yeah, some grounding. You just do like this. Paint on. So. What I did say, yeah, I said how much protein is there in a pork chop compared to fat? I was comparing sausages and pork chop. I guess you're going to sleep now, so I'm not going to bother you anymore. 10 is watching now. Please give it a thumbs up, for heaven's sake. I need thumbs up. If you're just popping by, just slam the thumbs up button. It's so important for the algorithm, okay? It doesn't cost anything. Now I'm using alizarin here and the French ultramarine and some blue black. Now also see that there are maybe some cobalt, because it shines a little bit light on it. So I'm going to try to enhance it with a little bit of cobalt. And that was the song. No, I think it's some green actually. It looks green. Let's give it a try with some yellow. Lift it up a little bit. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I have to lift it up. And I have to push it down again. Maybe I should actually go a little bit closer now, so people can see what I'm doing. A little bit closer here. Yeah, maybe like this. So, it's very hard for people to give me a thumbs up today. Ah, okay. Yeah, okay. It's the other way around. Okay, a pork chop is 17.7 grams of protein and 15% fat, 15.7. And I have 15.5. And that's put on you know, the sausages was 17% plus fat, and there was it 12 grams of protein, but there is no sugar, and you can actually take the fat in the pork chop and just kind of remove it, and then it becomes quite lean actually. So if you cut away the fat that is around the edges, there is not so much fat left, and it's good protein. So yeah. Okay, now it's suddenly 11 watching. If you're here, just pops in, give it a thumbs up. It's so important, please, because it's so hard for me to get into the algorithm these days. So it probably has to do with the way I'm doing my content. You know, it's probably not hipped enough, if you know what I mean. So maybe I should find a way to make more videos who are more hip. But I don't like fake stuff, and I just feel it's, if I could get a small audience who like the way I do it, that would be fine, you know. I already got a small audience who really like what I do, but it's not big enough to make that much dent economically right now. So, but it grows slowly. Every day there's basically a new subscriber, and sometimes a new patron, and slowly it grows. And I guess you have to reach a certain point before you can actually as it take off, as they say. Maybe there is a like they say in the aging, you know, when it comes to the aging process, science is catching up with the aging process. So we are aging slower and slower and slower because of science. And at some point we will age backwards. And that is of course what I'm hoping for, because death is not an option. It's not something I want to do. I would like to keep working for eternity if I could. Sadly, I don't believe in an afterlife, so not sadly, of course, that was wrong. So I'm not going to Valhalla to paint Odin or Thor. And not even a lot of wishful thinking will get me there. I have another friend called Steinar. It's called basically stone or stones in Norwegian. And he tries to send me videos of healing and all kinds of stuff, and I have the same argument with him over and over and over. And the last time now, he became a little bit, you know, when religious people starts to feel that you're calling them stupid, they tend to become angry and lash out. And I told him before to calm down. And actually, I like him as a person, so stop talking about it, you know, we can talk about other things. But he insists on making this a topic. And then when I slam him down with logic, and I can see his eyes rolling, he feel insulted. That's kind of a sad thing, you know. So it's like vegans, you know, you start arguing with them and they take it very personal. If you make your beliefs into your identity and your beliefs aren't rooted in reality, you're gonna hit the wall, okay? You're gonna get pushback. I don't actually believe in anything, except of course I'm a humanist and I have an opinion saying that we should take care of every child or every human being on the planet, and people like Putin should be taken out from the air wherever he sleeps. So should go for Kim Il-jung and all these people. They should have been condemned to death absentia and become like we had in Norse mythology. We had the thing that we could actually declare people peaceless, so anyone could actually kill them. If somebody committed a murder or something and you couldn't get to them, they were declared peaceless, and anyone could kill them without any consequences to them. I think when people are like Kim Il-jung or Putin or dictators who are destroying their own people and keeping them enslaved, which I think dictatorship is. It is slavery. It's modern slavery. We should have the international court that just condemn them to, if you couldn't get them, just declare them persona ignata or whatever we call it, and then any people could take them out. And the Americans could easily take out Kim Il-jung from the air with their technology. We'll take him out where he sleeps at night. Just figure it out, and there's, yeah. I think that would be the right thing to stop the war in Ukraine, make the people of North Korea free to choose their own lives, stuff like that. Now I'm on my rants again, of course, as always. Okay, there's a light right there, which now I'm using Ansarin. Maybe that's it. You know, if people ask me questions, these about painting, these streams would be about painting, more about painting. So bring it on. If anybody's watching who has a question, bring it on. Bring it on. That was actually more in the blue. And here there are room for some cobalt actually. Because cobalt is way colder and would be around the lighter areas. The cobalt would be in the lighter areas. The French ultramarine is a way deeper blue, which is almost kind of violet actually. So it has its own use. So, I just keep ruining my pencils. So sad. You see that if I can actually maybe tone it down a bit around the rows, can I clean it up a little bit? So now I'm actually mixing cobalt and French ultramarine and Alsarin to see if I can. There's some green here, and there are some. Maybe even use the Prussian blue, which is so important to kind of get this greenish tone around, because now I'm using actually 3 blues in this, so I actually for once mixed colors. And now you see because the Prussian blue is actually the complementary color to Alsarin, I think. That is how it looks to me anyway. So I'm not sure if that is actually true objectively, but that's how it feels to me. So now I was actually a little bit religious, because it's only my belief and my emotions that tell me that is true. But it's like quantum physics. If it didn't work, we wouldn't have mobile telephones. So we don't really know how it works, but we know that it works because it basically works. We don't know how, but we know that it works. So I guess we have the right idea. Or it's more like the why questions we can't really answer. Why does it work? What is the underlying physics for reality? So what was before the Big Bang? Stuff like that. And of course the Christian says a God. And we humanists and atheists say we're not really sure. Or as Brian Cox said in a video I saw today, we don't really know. We don't know why there is a reality at all. And we will probably never figure it out, because, or maybe we will figure it out and realize that it's extremely simple. Just some simple rules that just exist for no good reason. And that's the answer. There is no answer to why question. And, you know, the gods sure doesn't solve anything, because who created the gods? I mean, how can it be that the monotheistic gods existed for eternity before they suddenly decided to create us, or to create this planet, or however they actually chose to make us come to be, if it was through evolution or it doesn't really matter. The thing is, well, it matters, but the thing is that why now? Why not 1,000 billion years ago? Maybe they did, and then just get bored and they need somebody to fuck with, you know. That is what if there is gods, they are really just having us as entertainment pieces on a chessboard, because they are so incredibly bored in infinity that they just can't stand it. And maybe they aren't really all powerful, so they can't think themselves out of existence. I mean, if God has always been, or the gods have always been, and they can think themselves out of existence, I would guess they already did it. Anyway, no wonder so many is following this channel. Okay. Talk to me! Ask me questions about painting, and I will talk about painting, okay? Well, I see that people come in and then go and come back in and go and come back in and go. I don't see who it is, of course, but at least give it a thumbs up. Yeah, I think that actually worked. That was not dumb to do something more with that rose. Now it's actually it's kind of more fluid, and I can also touch it up with a smaller pencil, but I will do that later when I can focus better. And how long is this now? It is, how long has this been going on? 68 minutes. Okay, 70, 80, 28 minutes. No, I won't do that. I think I want to just, since there are not so many people in here today, I just think I want to drop it now in a few minutes. I just want to kind of create something. Also, I also need to do videos of the process. I'm gonna work here, I'm gonna work more in the background. I'm gonna probably do that all night, because tomorrow I want to be finished with this painting. At least the surroundings and the dress and stuff. So if there is no one who's gonna ask me a question, I might just call it a day. 69 minutes. So that I can actually focus better. Maybe I should just keep banging on. Maybe. Maybe I should do something closer, even closer. Even closer, so you can actually see what I'm doing, like this. Yeah, I can do that for a little while. I'm gonna try to do more around the rows and just see if I can find a pencil that can actually do the job. And see. So right here, thank you. Also, if you watch this stream later, if you look into the chat, you will see a girl there called Amalie Rusholt Næss. She's my girlfriend and she's a painter and she is building up a YouTube channel, and right now I think she just have 58 followers. She needs, I think is it 500 or is it 300 or something to get monetized. So if we can actually help her grow, that would be nice. She's a very nice person, a very honest, really honest girl actually. She's more like me, she doesn't have any choice. And actually I sometimes think she's more honest than me, because I have more of the sociopathic traits maybe, but she doesn't have these traits. So in many ways she makes me, I've always been kind actually, but I have done stuff in my life that wasn't up to the, shall we say, up to my morals. So as I always kind of tell her, you know, it's almost like I sometimes, you know, I've had a lot of strange, weird girls in my life, and some good and some bad. But if she kind of surprised me by not being who she is, or she was lying or pretending, she would be one of the few people in the world that actually totally fooled me. And I think my comment would be, oh, that's weird. I don't think I would have gotten angry in a way. It's like, because it would be so weird that I just would kind of packed my bag and left with them. Yeah. It's like, I'm not easily surprised anymore by human beings. But if she was a liar, which she's just not, it would be so surprising that I think I would have stopped laughing. And No, she's a good person. And yeah. So go check out her channel. Now, if you just come in here, you suddenly start watching, everything you hear is out of context. So you basically have to go back and see the stream to understand the context of this. Oh, there's so many details, so much. You know, you keep on doing stuff like this, and it's a never-ending story. You can just keep banging on forever. As I talked about earlier in this stream, and I didn't say exactly that, but I say to artists, and I said that in a different video I made on my channel. Save your money. If you get some money, don't be like Daddy. He had a lot and I used like an ass, and it only makes you, it doesn't even make you happy. It's just like watching porn in a way. It's like I can't remember one single time I watched porn and I was more happy afterwards. And the same thing is to eat too much or spend too much. I mean, to use money on things you need, and maybe on vacation and a good dinner and stuff like this, that is a good thing. But when you start using money to compensate for your low self-esteem, or you start spending because you have to basically cover a hole in your heart, it becomes like going to orgies. It's never enough, you know. It's never enough dopamine. It's never enough new stuff, and you destroy yourself in the process. So if you can save money, you will actually be able to only do your own work. So yeah. And you don't have to do any commission work. This is actually done for a good friend of mine who had bought some paintings of me, and he asked me if I could do this because I have been very late to finish some other works he wanted and or bought. So I made this portrait as basically as a gift. So so I can compensate for me not being able to finish stuff in time. And as you know, I went to jail for a year, and I don't know if maybe some people here that doesn't know that, but there's a video on my YouTube channel called my prison story, heartbreaking punishment. I was actually in jail or in prison for 365 days exactly, in a low security prison, or more like a summer camp in a way, or something like that. But it was actually quite fun. I sometimes actually miss it because I was so incredibly focused. But I was also extremely heartbroken back then because, yeah, there was this thing that wasn't so good in my life before I went in there. And that made the whole experience even more, shall I say, more real, and trying to. And what happens when you go to jail is like it's only so much you can do, and if you have some things you drag with you in there, like a heartbreak or something like that, that will be very much multiplied, because you can't really date anyone, you can't meet new people. You meet new people, but you know, it's not necessarily the people you want to meet, because also it was a very mixed bag. There was some people that I really liked and I still have contact with, and actually me and a guy had some conflicts in there too, but we are quite on good terms now, because the situation, you know, to kind of alpha types thrown in, whatever, into the same place, and you know, it becomes very close, and but we laugh about it now anyway, so it's good. But I met some very nice people. There's so many beautiful people who are drug addicts, and people who have done things. And there was this one guy, African. I remember that case actually in Norway many years ago, and he had killed his wife, cut her into pieces, put her in a trunk of his car, and he drove around with this corpse in his car, and he even drove his own kids to kindergarten with the corpse in the trunk. And in the end he delivered his car to EU control, and of course they found the partition corpse in his trunk, and he got, I think he was in prison for, he got 16 years. I think it's nothing. And he was in high security for 10, and he came down to that low security the last year or something before he was going to be released. And it's funny, he asked me, do you know what I've done? I said, yeah, it's not ideal, but who's the judge, you know? And I remember when he left the place, he said, he gave me all his drawing stuff, and he had this gather during the years, and said, told me, you're a good man. He said, I met a lot of people in prison, but you're a good man. And he gave me all his drawing stuff, and it's so funny to think back on, you know, this killer. Of course, he was probably totally crazy when he did this. I think it was actually from Somalia or something, so maybe it has to do with the culture also, you know. Maybe something happened in the family and he just lost his mind totally. I mean, if you take your wife and you cut her into pieces and you put her in a trunk of a car and you deliver the car to EU control without actually realizing that it might not be such a good idea, I think you're probably crazy. And that is probably why he only got 16 years of prison, that he was kind of insane in the when he did the action. Because if not, he would for that get at least 21 years. And then he would be sitting there for at least 16, so I don't know. So yeah, I met a lot of strange people. And, actually, I want to write a book about it. You know, it's going to be called, and I have to do it. And I shouldn't wait. I should write a book called My Prison Story. 365 days. Heartbreaking punishment. The good thing was that I had a half a year again left, and I had met my now girlfriend on Tinder, and there was the National Day in Norway, and I was actually going to go out with a friend of mine. I've been talking to her, and I was on permission, get permission in Norway after I've been in for a while. And a friend of mine, he screwed up the appointment, and I've been talking to her, and I was supposed to meet her later after I met him, but then he screwed up, and I said, well, just come by, and she said, I'll be here in 15 minutes. And it was kind of just a match. The first second, you just felt it. It was such a match, and it was so weird because I had been heartbroken for such a long time. Also starting to get over it because some things happened that made me just give up. So I had given up like 2 or 3 months earlier, to February, March, April. Yeah, like a little bit over 2 months earlier, I had just totally given up. So I was kind of going through the worst and was kind of finished with it. So when I met this one, it just felt right, and we've been together ever since. It was funny because I talked to her the month before, and I said, well, I'll be gone for a month, and she asked me, are you in prison? And I said, yeah, but she actually thought it was quite, what was it, exciting, spannende, and yeah, and when I met her first time, it was just extremely intense, and I went back for a month, and we met every time I came out. So, and then when I left, we just stuck together, and she's the most sweetest thing, and she has, I never had a single argument with her. So, because she's not making any drama. She's not lying or going behind my back or saying one thing and do another, and her personality doesn't change like the weather where I come from, calm me, you know. So there's nothing exhausting with it. It just feels right. And I think that is called love, actually, to put it. Yeah. So now you know that. The things I talk about when I stream, huh? Nothing about painting, just a lot of thoughts and. But that is your fault, because if you actually asked me more painting questions, I would talk more about painting. Actually, today I was wondering about just putting on some Marcus Aurelius or some Nietzsche or some audiobook and just let it roll while I was painting. And I think I want to start doing that. Just have these audiobooks in the background, and people pops in and ask some questions. I just answer, and if not, I just shut up and do my work. Because, yeah. Huh. Yeah, maybe you wonder why I was. If you go to the video, my prison story, there's 2 of them actually. But the first one, right. I also took up drawing in the evenings. It was basically like this. I woke up 7:30 in the morning, took a cold shower, went to uppstilling, as they call it. You have to kind of be counted, so because people were actually running away all the time, it's quite funny. And then I went to the carpenter shop and I did carpenter work and painting work and stuff like that. I even painted a Smurf for racetrack in Kongsvinger in Norway. So there's a Smurf on the racetrack in Kongsvinger in Norway, which I have painted, and I was so pleased with it because, you know, I do this work for a living and I put my heart and soul into it, like I do with these things. So, and I made one more that I actually hung on the wall in the painting room, and where we paint all kinds of stuff. You know, the thing about this, I had this Zen experience, more like when you see Karate Kid. You have that thing when he says wax on, wax off, and he has to stand there and kind of do repetition work. And I took upon me to, there was this villa in Kongsvinger which needed a new fence, or you painted a wooden fence, and there were 5,000 pieces of, you know, these wood things, and I painted all of them 4 times in 2 months' time. Nobody else wanted to do it because they found it so boring, but I just felt it was great. I was in that painting room, I was listening to the radio, I was drinking my tea and coffee and just flowing. And then in the evenings I was writing and I was exercising 4 times a week. Quite good gym there. And the old stuff actually from the 80s, but very nice anyway. And I was really quite peaceful. What you do get sick of when you're in that situation is that you can't really get away from people. I had my own room the last 7.5 months. The worst thing was in the beginning because I have to live with other people, so that was stressful. But despite that, it was actually, yeah. Hello, Mr. Humblinger, BA. I was actually starting to close down the stream, but then I started talking about my prison story and I just kept talking. So now it's actually 92 minutes. Do you have any question for me today, Mr. Humblinger? Humdinger, BA. Maybe a painting question could be in its place. Alright. So, alright. Now I think it's actually getting quite nice here too. It's starting to come on. I think I'm gonna go over it when I close down the screen. Just go over it more and see what happens. Yeah. I think it's actually time for me to close this down. So, Mr. Humblinger or Humdinger, B.A. Humdinger, or anyone else, if you want to ask any questions, now is the time to do it. I close down at exactly 100 minutes. 6 minutes left, so please, now is time. If not, I give a thumbs up. Please give a thumbs up. And when I upload this video, okay, you were watching and you didn't tell me. Anyway, yeah. You should start asking me questions because I get, well, maybe I should just rant. It doesn't matter, you know. It's too late now anyway, because I'm closing down now. There's so many details in this, and that is what I'm looking forward to. Two things. As when I was in prison, I was very focused. I got a lot done. I taught myself to draw, and you can actually see my prison art. I will also post some short videos about my prison art, the drawings I did and stuff in prison. I always posted 2 of them, and I in the beginning I was just messing around and didn't know how to use pencils because I'm a painter and I paint. I don't draw with a pencil, but I gradually got better. Sadly, I haven't done any drawing since I came out. For some reason, I was so ready to do more drawing. But yeah, and cooking dinner. Always watching cooking dinner. Yeah, okay. Thank you. It's nice to know. Remember the thumbs up, and you know, that's all I need. Every comment also helps, but it's not that many comments or stuff. You know, I have to build this up slowly anyway, so it kind of grows slowly. I can also see it in the income from commercials and stuff. I can see it's kind of inching up little by little. My goal is, of course, to become totally economically independent from sales. That sales is just something you do, not something you have to do. Because if you come to that point, as I was talking about earlier, if you become totally economically independent from galleries and sales, you can still sell, but it doesn't matter if I sell. Hell, I could just give them away. It wouldn't matter, because to me, it is the work that matters. It is actually getting it to become what I wanted to become. That is what is important to me, not money. If I had a Zentilla of economic sense, like one of the Norwegian painters, Vebjørn Sand, which basically makes everything into money. I mean everything. There's the prints and the sea print and there's just so many. It's just, yeah. I don't have that thing. I'm not cynical enough to do it, so we'll probably never get very rich. But then again, who cares? As long as you can have enough money to have food and have the equipment and not be stressed about your economy, that is basically what I need. Yeah, okay. Just gonna close down now and have some pork chop, and then I'm gonna paint more and make the last segments of the video. So just gonna do it like this, as I usually do, and show me my crazy studio. There you can see. Actually, I'm gonna show you around. Since I'm here, it's just crazy in here. You know, it's here you have this old thing in the middle. I have, you know, my girlfriend, and she's very, very organized. And yeah, I need to have my own place to work if we move together. But this is the bed. I made it actually from old timber and stuff. This is quite cool. Here we have fun, and yeah. and kitchen parts. And I made this huge bathtub out of old bricks I found, and it's professionally done, so we can actually lay here and swim. There's one painting of my ex actually. Yeah, there's another one. And here I am. It's not the 9th, that was Friday. So, with this, thank you for watching, and remember the thumbs up. Leave a comment if you want to support my work. You can do that by buying me a coffee, go to my Patreon, or do super chat if you want to do that while I'm streaming. So, yeah, I think we're gonna close down now, and if I can figure out how. So, thanks for watching, as I said, and I hope to see you in my next stream or video. And remember, ask questions next time. Bye-bye. 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 Do you really want to stop it? Are you really sure? Yes.